Hi, my name is Josh McGaffick with Primal Health and Wellness. If you just recently received your kit or you're looking to get started with us, I have some rules and some dosing questions that usually arise during the consultation or after you received your kit, as well as other questions that come up as you're tailing to the end or you're looking to come off the medication as well. So best time and day for the injection. I personally like Friday or Saturdays. If it was in the morning, it was around 10 a.m. That way I had a little bit of breakfast or something in my stomach for food or carbs or sugar. If you're taking a medication, to understand that this is utilizing or balancing your A1C, your insulin, your glucose out more, so you don't have so many peaks or valleys that I've mentioned before in other videos. But by doing so, if you had a mild dinner and you've gone all night and slept in, or you're starting the day off and not hungry, or putting fuel in, that's where those side effects and everything else can come out. Really stem from a hypoglycemic event, or like the mild to moderate headache, fatigue, nausea, that morning sickness type belly, or even like a hangover belly where you need sugar or carbs, peanut butter crackers or sips of ginger ale, whatever you need to do. Just don't starve yourself and think, by not having carbs or sugar that you'll lose more weight. Best time is usually in the morning. There's no golden rule. I have a lot of clients that do it right before bed. I have some do it in the morning. If you miss it in the morning, you can take it in the evening. If you miss it that full day, you can still take it the next day. There's no rule by FDA guidelines or Big Pharma to say, if you have to take it every day at 6 a.m. But try to get into the routine of same day, same time, same way is how I utilize that and explain. I always like to have a nice weigh-in in the morning. That was my weekly weigh-in. I had breakfast. Kids were off playing after breakfast and cleaned up. And I went to the restroom or the bathroom and got my injection started and started that day. The other reason I like to do it on the weekend is if I did have any side effects, that's a big question and a big fear for a lot of clients. I was on the weekend, or if I was off work, if it were to hit me then, or if I ate crappy or had anything extra to drink and try to not have those lifestyle modifications that we discussed, then I was on a weekend and it didn't interrupt my weekly routine with work or with the kids. But also on the weekend, I really like to have it that way. I had a blocker for all the family functions or date night or being around a big Italian family. I was more tempted by food or drink or parties or sporting events, and that way I had a good blocker in me to know that my shot was fresh, I was good and started, and I wasn't tempted to overindulge, we'll say. But leading on to that is dosing. A big question is, I got started, I read your dosing guide, it made sense, but I still want to touch base. What are your thoughts? And I want you to instantly look at that dosing guide or the email to understand, you don't have to increase your dose as needed. We have 3 rules with the medication and dosing per se. If you say, well, I'm not hungry at all, it means you're on too high of a dose. You have to be able to eat. You have to have hunger or you're going to feel like garbage throughout the whole process. The more fuel you add to your body, the better this medication will be utilized, and hopefully lose weight gradually, as well as a nice medium pace without starving yourself to get there or to your goal just for a number on the scale. The other idea behind is like rule number 2, when you eat, are you full? If the answer is yes, like, hey, I can't get past like 50% of my plate. I'm full. I feel like Joey from Friends with the Meat Sweats. Like, I don't know if I keep eating or drinking through it. I don't know if I'm going to go to the bathroom, or vomit or diarrhea or anything else that way. I just feel way bloated. I know my limits. That is considered your sweet spot. Stay there on how many units it takes to stay there as long as you can until rule 3. When you say, hey, I'm hungry, Josh, I'm reading your dosing guide. It literally says in the email to increase your dose no more than 5 units weekly until that satiety or that fullness or your sweet spot is met again. So if you say, I'm wiping my plate clean, I'm going in for seconds or thirds, or I'm noticing I'm craving a king-size bag of Skittles at night and I'm not coming up for air, then increase your dose. But don't think hunger or cravings is the bad thing or an instant notification to increase your dose because you're hungry. We've all been taught, well, if I'm hungry and I eat, I'm going to gain weight. That's just how our society and our Western civilization and medicine and generation is thought. We come from a clean plate club, or Italians that you had to finish these plates or else, or, if you were poor but you had food, you were rich. So our mentality is, I need to eat what's in front of me. Being hungry is perfectly normal. The hungrier you are, or even as you eat, but you're full, you're still giving your body fuel, letting the medication not let you overindulge, not have the cravings or the constant grazings or pickings. So there's a big discrepancy between fear of hunger, but also being full and satisfied when you eat. To change your daily lifestyle, to know that It's normal to be hungry. That's a normal sensation. A lot of my clients want that satisfaction of being on phentermine or Adipex or a stimulant to where you shut that mechanism off completely to eat or drink. That's bad. If you look at all the studies of those who've been on phentermine or speed or fen and all those, the rebound weight after 120 days of being off the medication is 120% rebound weight gain back. It's not teaching you the lifestyle modifications or changes that you need. It's more utilizing the medication as a crutch to starve yourself to get to that number on a scale rather than caring about how you look or how you feel. It's not all about weight. It's about a healthy lifestyle, healthy habits, healthy numbers and vitals like your cholesterol, your blood pressure, your overall BMI, how you feel, your self-esteem, libido, intimacy. It helps out in many different avenues, and it's just not about, oh, I just can't get back down. I just need to lose 10 more pounds because. Another one is, not doubling your dose or following traditional other clinic or spas guidelines or FDA guidelines. My wife being a pharmacist, a lot of times if you bring this brand and you go to your provider and they say, hey, I'm hungry, they're going to want you to double your dose, which by being able to control your dose, we call it personal individualized dosing, you go what works for you. You don't have to double your dose, one, utilizing or using more medication out of a vial, so you have to spend more. By doubling your dose, a lot of times that's when those side effects really roll in and can wreak havoc on you for not needing to take as much at that time, and it's too much for your body to kind of get used to or where your level is. That's working for the medication at that time. We've gone over that. Another question that comes up is, hey, I've met my goal, or I'm very happy, or even I don't have the funds, I can't keep up this medication, but I just want to stop, or cessation of medication. The FDA has a big gray area, and a lot of the times it says, you are on this medication until your desired weight, if that's what you're on it for weight loss. It's a big gray area. I don't know everyone's desired weight. I mean, the studies show 68-week clinical trial with diet and exercise to lose 15%. So it's not always a guarantee, but it's also not guaranteed to continue to lose weight. Eventually, your body's going to say, what else are you doing for me to get down to where you want to be? Or what studies show, your first week could be 1 to 8 pounds, your first month could be 8 to 18 pounds. But the FDA says we have this big gray area to say, hey, you're on this until your desired weight. Well, when I knew I was done, my wife and I spoke about it. I wanted to see how I felt off the medication so I could tell my clients as well as utilize it for myself to see if I've truly kind of put on the gear to understand, hey, I need to make my own lifestyle modifications and not just stay on this medication as a crutch just out of fear of being obese again. If you want to quit, you can quit cold turkey like I did. There are no rules, regulations. You don't have to listen to providers or clinics or spas that say, well, you can't quit this medication. You'll gain it all back. If you didn't change your lifestyle habits, yeah, there's a higher chance that you could. I've been off it, like I said, for 13 months. I've lost 5 more pounds from my initial 70. Those around me understand, love to work out more and make those lifestyle modifications, but I still haven't gone back to what I was doing prior to. But a lot of clinics or spas will say, well, you have to stay on a maintenance dose. Well, there's no guaranteed golden dose what works for everybody. Oh, stay on 40 units or stay on 50 units, or you have to wean down off the medication. That's all a sales ploy or a tactic to keep you buying more medication to make more money. If you're done and you're ready to say, hey, I'm giving this a break, and to be honest, a little fear of being off the medication was about a month and a half or 2 months into it. Post, old Josh's hunger came back, and it was scary. But even when I went to eat, I still couldn't eat like I used to. I was ordering less. I was eating slower, and I literally would look at a full plate and take it for leftovers. I still couldn't overindulge. So that's what it did for me. Lastly, there's a major question of like, hey, I've plateaued. Everyone gets so used to losing weight every week, or they get frustrated like, hey, I'm at this weight for a week or two or a month. What do I do? Should I switch to Tirzepatide? Do you offer that? Yes, we do, but it doesn't mean that it's better. My first question right to you, as soon as that email comes through, like, I've plateaued. I've only lost 30 pounds in 2 months. I thought I'd lose more. That's incredible, one, to lose that much weight in that amount of time, but also to understand that, my first question to you, well, how's your diet and exercise? How many units are you currently using? Usually, a lot of my clients aren't taking nearly enough out of fear to help with their satiety or their fullness, or they don't want to use that much medication because then that vial that they purchase doesn't last as long. And they have to spend more as they're on the medication. I understand that financial stress, but I also say you're not paying $1,500 a month at the pharmacy for 4 shots. The vials should last you XYZ amount of time for what you purchase, But you have to increase your dose, but also more units doesn't equal more weight loss. If you say, hey, I've been at 30 units for 2 months worth, I'm not losing any more weight. Are you eating enough? How's your diet? And look at the studies. Like, you've lost decent amount of weight so far. And I always end up saying, it's a marathon, not a sprint. What else are you doing to add more fuel to the fire with that? So whenever they do want to switch or plateau, what else can I do? It's usually diet and exercise. What other lifestyle changes are you doing? Are you eating enough? Are you starving yourself, trying to get, no carbs or sugar to lose more weight quicker? And everyone wants that Amazon Prime diet, which I think is ridiculous. Like, hey, I paid my money. I've been on this. I've only lost 12 pounds this month. Okay. Like, I don't know what else to tell you, but 12 pounds is amazing in a month or two. You're not risking time or energy or injury at the gym. You aren't starving yourself or on a crazy fad diet and risking rebound weight. You're letting the medication work, and you're living your normal lifestyle, as well as making fine-tuned changes to your diet, or then having enough energy to maybe do a yoga tape or take your dog for a walk or do a class at the gym. To offer Tirzepatide, which we do, it's very costly. It's not better than. A lot of clinics, spas, providers will push it and say, hey, Zepbound just got approved and Manjaro just got approved. And a lot of times you can get it for a month or two with a coupon, but as soon as insurance says, hey, this needs a prior auth, or you're not a diabetic or pre-diabetic, you're looking at around $1,100 to $1,500 a month just for 4 shots. We do offer it, but in their studies, they always kind of change the numbers and make it seem better. We'll lose 22% in 78 weeks clinical trial with diet and exercise, where semaglutide was 68-week clinical trial with diet and exercise to lose 15%. Well, those numbers look better, but if you gave me 10 more weeks on semaglutide with diet and exercise, I bet I could have lost another 7% body fat with another 10 weeks of that. So don't let people persuade you thinking there's stuff better. Use the medication for what it's done for you. It's not a cure. It's not to stay on forever. I don't push that. If you're down 30 or 40 pounds and you're still not satisfied, that's your own fault. I'm sorry, I can't change your mindset and thinking that you're trying to get down to 110 or 120 and now the medication's kind of plateaued, or it's not the same, or the potency is different. The medication worked. If it doesn't, like I said before, it's not a guarantee. And that's a tough phone call to have with clients, but I don't see that too often. I usually see a lot of clients don't give it enough fair trial run, or utilizing or staying on it long enough to let the medication kick in. But it's not a guarantee in the first month or 2 or 3. But I do see a lot of great success with my clients, as well as having them being educated on the medication, and the dosing is the most important part. So I'm sorry to take up your time, but I appreciate everything, all the good questions. Please watch these videos and try to correspond them with what's going on in your journey. But if you have any questions, please email us. Looking forward to hearing from you. Thanks.